Acting right now. And I've got Earl in the waiting room. I'm gonna let him in.
This is Earl. I'm here.
I hear you.
Okay.
Okay.
Should I hit share screen or join the audio or there? Can you see me? Can you see me now?
No, you have to take your.
Oh, start video. Okay.
And so, Dallas, have you already? There you are, right there, and I am admitting you.
Okay.
Hey. There you are.
Okay, I'm gonna hang up now.
But you're not getting me. Okay, yeah, you're not getting me on video yet.
No, just I need you to start your video.
Okay.
Oh, wait. I can do it from here. Hang on. I think.
Good, because I should be set up and ready to go. Hey, Earl.
Hey, Dallas.
What's up?
Oh, man, I'm missing you.
Back at you, bud.
There you are.
You like my backdrop?
Oh, man. I wish I was so clever. That is beautiful.
Hell, I didn't do that. Joe did it.
Wow.
And I have the outside doors, the front doors with the landmark status.
Oh, wow.
Excellent. Nice.
Woo!
Since I'm at the Continental Club, I'm ready.
And I've got my jug of water like usual.
I have my Coke.
I have rum and milk.
Ah.
You guys been doing all right?
Well,
I'm hanging in here.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Tough thing about Kathleen's brother. Jesus.
We're not talking about that.
No, we won't. Are we on?
We're on.
Oh, hell's bells. I'm sorry about that. I didn't know. Okay, yeah. Hi, everybody. Yeah, good.
Oh, how's your summer?
Yeah, it's good. That's good. I've been to the grocery store about a half dozen times, and I put on pants last week. Had something down at the birthplace of country music museum, so I put on pants and cowboy boots for the first time since the 1st of March.
Oh, wow.
I was walking in them like a drunken sophomore at a senior prom in a pair of high heels. I just staggered around all day long. It took me a while to get used to wearing them.
Now, I do see that we've got Kathy's here, Donna's here. Guys, let me know if you can chat or post any kind of questions or anything. Remember, I'm very new to this, and so I don't know what I need to do yet. I'm still learning. In fact, I even found out about connecting a PayPal button, but I couldn't figure it out in time to get it for today.
Cool. I was hoping to do some shopping on
Uber.com
or eBay.
What I am
Can I use your PayPal?
I am going to start with one very quick commercial for the Continental Club.
Yes.
And since the Continental Club is hosting this, we do ask that you check out our merch page at continentalclub.com/. I forgot now what our address is.
It'll be there.
If it's merch or what it is. I'll have to look and see. But we do have, if you go to our page, our website, on the website, it'll have a banner at the top. And if you click on that banner for more information, it will direct you to our donations page, which is 100% going to the employees. Well, and also you can go to our merch page and buy merchandise, and the proceeds go to the employees as well. So please do take advantage of that. We would love to be able to take care of our people, and it's
Yes.
getting harder all the time for every.
I'm willing to do that as well because since COVID-19 hit, I've gained about 25 pounds and none of my Continental Club t-shirts fit anymore. I got to get some more. You got anything in a 3X or a holy shit? That's another, that'd be the actual size would be the HS size.
I'm sure we do. That's Patrick's department, but I'm sure we do.
I don't know. After all this is over with, I don't know whether my first stop's going to be AA or Weight Watchers, but it's going to be one of the two.
Well, maybe just there's one that I'll think about that.
Maybe it's in the same shopping center.
Right.
Tennessee. I don't know. If it is, I don't know. I only have to park once.
And I will apologize.
You guys have seen me drive. So.
Overeaters Anonymous will cover it all.
I like that idea, yeah.
And I will apologize to everyone for the psychedelic clipping that is happening with my hair.
I think it's nice.
Backdrop.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
And then it disappears, and then it gets big, and then it gets little, and so I apparently have made quite a splash with my disappearing hair.
I had a COVID-19 haircut today. I start out, it was getting kind of long, and I start out, and I'm trying to just trim it up a little bit so I don't look like some lunatic, and it just gets shorter and shorter, and then chunks start coming out, and I'll pull the trimmer away, and there'll be like a big chunk of hair, and it's like, okay, this is not good. I might as well just take the whole thing off. So I did.
Well, welcome to everyone who has joined us. And this is Earl's second time being with me for this. And I want to thank you, Earl, for being my sidekick again on this show with Dallas. And we were very disappointed that Red wasn't able to join us today, but due to unforeseen circumstances, it just wasn't possible. So we will get him for a future show, and hopefully we'll get you guys back again. Maybe we'll be able to get the whole band at some point.
Oh, I think that would be great. If we can get Tom off his bicycle long enough, I think we can do it.
We'll have him out walking his dogs.
Yeah.
And so I kind of want to jump right in here with a couple of questions to get this started with you, Dallas. And first of all, now I first met you when you were on tour with the Twang Bangers, which included Bill Kirchen, Reverend Billy C. Wirtz, Red Volkart, yourself. Was that it?
Joe Goldmark?
Oh, yeah. Joe Goldmark, too. Yeah.
Billy C. actually wasn't on that first tour. Now, he was on the gig, though, I think, as well.
Ah, okay. And so that goes back quite a ways. I think y'all were on High Tone at the time, right?
Yeah, all of us were out trying to make a living, supporting our new record. Sorry about the phone. I'm trying to figure out how to kill this thing. We were all out on the road trying to make a living and support the records. And the record company decided they would. It was cheaper to send us all out together. So that's how the Twang Bangers came about. And all of us had worked together before. So it was just a matter of all of us working together before at once. Sort of like Heybale.
Right. Mm-hmm. So now, since the two of you are here, let's talk about how Heybale started. Earl, you covered some of that a couple of weeks ago. But Tom Lewis was actually the one that brought everybody together.
Yes.
And originally, one of the singers was Gary Claxton. And unfortunately, we lost Gary several years ago. And then Dallas, you were invited to join. Right. And it started a whole new era of Heybale.
And once again, it was a situation where we'd all worked together before. I'd filled in for Gary a lot and for Kevin a lot over the years. And so it was tough to go in and work in that situation. Of course, losing Gary, he was a friend to all of us, and just the greatest guy you could ever hope to be around. And
Exactly.
it was tough, but these guys made it real easy for me.
And so, have you always been rooted in the classic country tradition?
I had my wild foray into bluegrass music, and that's been about it.
I read about that.
Well, you know, some of the players are early on in that bluegrass scene that might have some totally unfounded, I might add, stories to tell. But I'm denying every damn bit of it. But started out in bluegrass music, and then when I moved to Nashville in the '70s, I realized the bluegrass musicians in Nashville only work in the summertime when there's festival season. So there's nothing to do in the winter except buy an electric bass and start singing country music, which was where I ended up doing it. And I would bounce back and forth through the years, just doing both.
And so you've also done a lot of acting, as has Earl.
Mm-hmm.
And so what are your favorite acting credits?
I think my favorite thing to do that was most satisfying, because theater on the road can be absolutely grueling. Earl, you know how grueling a set is for that kind of stuff, and it's mind-numbingly boring after the production is up and running, because you're just going to a new town, setting up the set, and doing a 2 or 3 day run maybe, or one night in worst case scenarios. But my favorite one was Harry Chapin's Cotton Patch Gospel. I was in the national touring company of that, and I loved the play. I loved Clarence Jordan's books. It was just that I'd read his books before I'd seen the script of the play, and so I was really, really into that before it even started up. And I couldn't wait to do it. Just wonderful stuff.
That must be very rewarding to get to do something that you are so fond of.
And Harry Chapin, when he wrote this thing, he was, he had a wicked sense of humor, and there were little minefields all in the script that if you were doing it in Valdosta, Georgia, in front of, in a theater full of church buses, for example, that came down to see what a play was about with Jesus coming back in modern day Georgia, they would not catch those minefields because they weren't looking for them in the first place. But the script was just wicked, and it kept us entertained every night.
Now, here's a little side note. All of the Chapin brothers went to college at Plattsburgh State University in Plattsburgh, New York.
Excellent.
And that was just 30 miles from my home. And so when I was a teenager, I used to get to see the Chapin brothers perform. And Tom Chapin was an actor and in the college plays, and I got to watch him in, I think it was in Inherit the Wind. There were a few different things that I got to see him in anyways. So
Tom started the main role of Matthew / Jesus, because it was the multiple roles in the play, but he started the role on Broadway with the original production of Cotton Patch.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Good guy.
So now, Earl, what was your favorite acting job that you ever had?
It was in Texas, I think Texasville, with Sybil Shepherd and Jeff Bridges. And it was a nice place to be. It was up a town in Texas. The son plays guitar and sings. It was based upon a book by his father. What's his name?
James McMurtry.
Yeah.
It was based upon a book that he had written, a follow-up to the Last Picture Show. And he had a real interesting characters. I didn't have a whole lot to do, but it was like a whole ensemble of people down there. I got to work with Annie Potts. I loved Annie Potts. She was so sweet to work with. And Jeff Bridges, I got to know Jeff. Uh, and I spent more time there on that film than any other. And I was just lucky to be there and be around all those people, and a lot of good times, a lot of good memories there.
Were you living in Texas, Earl, when you did
No,
Texas film?
I was living in California. That's
Well,
where
that
I.
must have been a hell of an exposure then to walk into Larry McMurtry land and do
Oh yeah,
Really
and be
oh
in
yeah,
Texas for several
yeah.
weeks like that. 'Cause that's down and dirty.
Oh yeah. Um, it was it was quite a it was very different for me. I mean, because I had been to Texas before. I had been to Texas and Houston for 3 years, and I moved to California.
Right.
And then while I'm in California, and then I moved to Nashville. Then I moved from Nashville back to California. It was during that second part of my California life, which was altogether different than my first part of my California life. Was and that movie came up, and I was writing some songs with the director, Peter Bogdanovich, and he became a friend, so he decided to cast me in this picture. And the strangest thing I had to do was rope an oil well pump. I forget what they call them, and it was fun. One of the funniest things that I ever witnessed in my whole life. I'd get to ride in with the girls sometimes. Cloris Leachman, Annie Potts, and
Mm-hmm.
those, and a couple of the girls that were actresses that played some of the not as big parts, but they were from Texas. And I'd get to ride into the set with them from the hotel we stayed at, which was 20-something miles away.
Right.
And they would always insist on pulling over every week and getting the new, what do you call those papers where it's all gossip and no
The
truth?
National Enquirer.
Yeah, all the new ones. We
God.
get about 4 copies of all of those kinds of papers, and that's what we read. I couldn't believe it.
If they were they seeing if they were in them?
I don't know. I think they were just having fun.
Did I make the Enquirer this week? Okay.
Could have been. Anyway, that's one of the fun things I got to know. That was fun. I had a good time.
Now, I know, Dallas, you've been a world traveler. And at one point, you lived in Scandinavia, didn't you?
I did. It was an extradition treaty through the Witness Protection Program. No, actually, no. I backed into a record deal over there. Oddly enough, I was on tour with the band over from the States over in Europe for like, I don't know, it must have been 8-10 weeks. And the last 4 or 5 days were in Finland. And a guy kept coming up to the shows. He was the head of the record company of the opening act for that tour. There was a local Finnish band.
Uh-huh.
And kept coming out and hanging out, and he hit every show we did. And he would sit there and stare at me like a bug in a jar. And I couldn't figure out what was wrong with this guy, or what was going on. And about the 3rd or 4th night, he came up and said, and Finns are very direct. They're culturally, they're very direct culture of people. And he said, "You're not a bluegrass singer, are you?" And Special Consensus had just come off a Grammy nomination. I mean, it was a good band, and I was proud to be the lead singer in this band. But I had to say, "Well, no, I'm not." And he said, "Well, you are a good country singer." He said, "Have you made any country recordings?" I said, "Well, I made one in Nashville a couple of years ago, but I'm devoting myself to the bluegrass thing." He said, "I want you to come back, and I want you to make a record for my company." And all I'm thinking of is, cool, a free trip to Finland, because this was in June, and Finland in June is the most beautiful place you've ever been. It's sunny and 70, 23 hours of daylight. Everything is just lush and green, and the coffee was great. Everybody smoked cigarettes back then, and the girls were beautiful. So I'm thinking, hey, I'd love to come back to Finland. Hell, that's going to be good. And I'll end up with a record that I'll wind up just having it on the merch table with the rest of our stuff every night.
Uh-huh.
Or there'll be something different. It'd be a country record that, in the sea of bluegrass that they could buy. And so we started looking at the schedules, and we ended up, I was busy doing the touring company of the Harry Chapin play. And we got to look at our schedules. The only time it was free was the first week of December. So I'm thinking, I'm going back to Finland. This place is paradise. And I went back to Finland. And Earl, you've been there, you know. I hit Finland the first week of December, where it's 23 hours of darkness. It is cold. It is snowy. It is wet. It is bone-chillingly wind coming off the harbor there in Helsinki. It was a nightmare. And I didn't see the sun for 2.5, 3 weeks while I was making the record. But ended up making that one record over there and thinking, well, that's going to be it. And we backed into a hit record over there, which was nobody was more surprised than me, because I didn't realize it. I came back to do the album release, and it's like, you got a #2 record right now. Okay. And one album turned into 8 over there, and I just, one thing led to another, and I kept going back more and more, and it got to the point where that was the only place I was going to tour. I was going over for 2 or 3 weeks in Finland and Sweden and Norway and down into Europe, and then coming home for 2 or 3 weeks and resting, and then going right back over again. And this went on for a couple of years. And I asked Joe, my wife, I said, there's nothing holding us. We were living in Chicago at the time. I said, there's nothing holding us here. I said, where do you want to live? And she said, same country as you. So, and she'd been over there several times with me on tour, because some of those tours, they got longer and longer as the years went by on that. And it was 2.5, 3 months at a time sometimes on tour. And she'd take her vacation from work and just hop on the bus and be band girl, which you guys know my wife, that's an odd stretch for her. But she fit right in, and it was just fun. And she knew Finland at that point. We had developed relationships with friends and stuff like that. And then when Warner Chappell opened up a publishing company there in Finland, there was my songwriting connection. I could write from there and not have to worry about, well, if I leave the States, am I going to get any pitches, any cuts, anything like that? And so I was able to change my profit center over to Finland, and it worked out pretty well. We stayed there for 6.5 years.
That was kind of a long haul to be over there, wasn't it?
Yeah. The funniest thing was, we decided we wanted to move when we lived on top of the second place we lived in Finland was on top of a mountain, and nobody plowed their road in front of it. And it was just a gravel, rough road going up, but it was only like 5 minutes from downtown Espoo, Finland. And, but the city was saying it's private property. You guys own it. You plow it. And we're saying, no, that's a city road. They're not allowed to plow it because it's a city road. I can't hire anybody. So this big argument is going on. And Joe is walking down the hill from the top of where the house was. And this was about a quarter mile down to the main road. She's walking down, and she slips and falls into a big giant pile of dog shit. So that's when we decided it's time for us to move. And we moved to California.
But I bet you got to
I'm sure they have dog shit. I'm sure they have dog shit in California, but no snow to go with it.
I bet you saw plenty of Northern Lights, though.
I did. Joe never did.
Really?
She's still pissed about it. And I keep promising to take her back to see the Northern Lights, because there's nothing like it. It's an incredibly inspiring thing. I have seen them here in the States, in Idaho, up at Sandpoint. Earl, you know where Sandpoint, Idaho is. I've been up there seeing them there, and that's the only place I've ever seen them in the lower 48.
We used to see them in upstate New York, in northern New York. My hometown is only 90 miles south of Montreal, Canada. And so given the proper circumstances, we'd be able to stand in a field across from one of our local bars and watch the Northern Lights. Every once in a while it would happen.
I don't know. I think that was mushrooms. I'm thinking mushrooms.
It could have been. So now here's my next question. How did you end up on Sirius XM?
Well, that's an odd story because I was over in Utrecht, Holland, with the Twang Bangers, playing a show over there, and big country music festival over there, and called Blue Highways. I think you've probably been there, haven't you, Earl?
Mm-hmm.
The Blue Highways Festival. And I was still smoking cigarettes back then, and I was just chain smoking like a bastard because, you know, in Europe everybody smokes, so it's like, okay, I got a license to do this here, and I was smoking out Bill Kirchen to no end. I mean, he was real sweet about it, but I could tell I was just driving him crazy. And Red had stopped smoking at that time, so I felt really betrayed. My smoking buddy was gone. So I'm sitting there in the dressing room after our sound check, and they had two stages, one solo singer-songwriter stage and then the main stage. We were getting ready to play on the main stage, so they would alternate music. It was a big indoor festival. They would alternate the singer-songwriter stage, and then so we'd done the sound check, and I realized I'm smoking everybody out here in the dressing room, and it's like, okay, I got to stop this. So I said, hey, I'm going over to the singer-songwriter stage. There's a gal I want to hear that I really, really like her new record from there in Nashville named Laura Cantrell. And so I go over and to see the show, and I'm standing next to this guy, and I said, I really like this woman singing. And in English, he answered back, so do I. And I said, he said, that's my wife. And I said, oh, you must be Jeremy Tepper from Diesel Only Records and from the Country Music Journal. And we became kind of breakfast buddies for the few days we were there at the festival. I'd meet Laura and them for breakfast every morning. And we got to know each other a little bit. And when he took over a station there on Sirius XM with Little Steven Van Zandt, he gave me a call. Said, I got this new station. You want to do some radio? And I said, I got a new record to promote. I don't know if I can do it. He said, you can do it on the road. It's no problem. And so I started doing that. That was 15 years ago this last June.
Wow.
Been with the company, and I just love it. I love what we do on Outlaw Country. I love what we do on Rivers Roadhouse. I love working with the people I work with. It's just couldn't be better.
Now, we're going to have to learn something here because I just got a message from Kathy that they're all stuck in the waiting room and I need to let them in. So I'm going to admit all, but I don't know if that means that they're all going to show up on screen or not.
It'll be like the Brady Bunch. This will be great.
So, okay. 11 people in the meeting. Okay.
Look at all those people.
Yeah.
Good grief. I'd have dressed up if Earl. I'd have dressed up if I was.
So, y'all, please forgive me. I still don't know exactly what I'm doing, so I'm glad you're here. And next time I'll know that I have to actually admit you.
Yes, I'm a New York Yankees fan, and that is from the 1996.
If we stay on these Zoom meetings, I'm gonna have to admit a whole lot more than just.
Okay, now I need to figure out how to.
As we go along, to think about just small things that I want to sort of get through. Somebody asked
video,
whether or not
but now that doesn't help with how do I stop?
Money or food. As far as we know,
how do I mute?
Just took the photos and went off. It's
we can like eavesdrop on these people.
That.
Hey, you shut that guy off, or he quit talking, maybe.
He was talking about baseball, I think.
Was that what that was? Has that started yet? I'm kind of under a rock.
Yeah,
right.
it has. It started and stopped and started again a couple of
Okay.
times. They're doing what they can to make the season work. Ditto with the NFL. It's just, it's going to be up for grabs for a really, really long time.
Gotcha.
Much
Oh,
like the
well.
live music scene.
Yeah.
So Dallas, I've been a fan for a long time, way back since those twang bangers. But what I would like to know about is
There's always a but in there, isn't there?
you wrote a song that actually, there are several of your songs that I love, but there is one in particular that was on volume 1 of Songs the Jukebox Taught Me.
Mm-hmm.
Your Time's Coming. And
Oh.
I love that song. And you ended up doing that as a duet with Willie.
Yes.
Have you done any other recordings with him?
No, he hasn't spoken to me since, actually. No. No, I can't claim credit for writing that song because actually that is a Chris Christopherson and Shel Silverstein song.
Oh, it is.
The songs the Jukebox Taught Me records are both all nothing but covers. After 13 albums of original material, I decided that's not working. Nobody's buying my songs. I'm going to go back and record some cover music.
I thought that was the one that was yours.
No, but I'd claim it, and I don't. Shel sadly is no longer with us, and Chris is a pretty mellow guy. He's not going to care. Maybe I will steal it. We'll see.
And so was it your idea from the beginning to have Willie on it, or how did that evolve?
I had asked him, and I said, I'm getting ready to do this album of covers, and I'd really like to do a duet if you'd like to do one. He said, great. And so we'd go back and forth with different songs, and I'd say, well, what about this one? And mostly the stuff I was looking for was out of his catalog. And all he would say was, oh, good, I know that one. And so Justin Trevino, who is a great record producer and singer and musician out in Brady, Texas. Justin was the one that reminded me of the Fair and Young song, Your Time's Coming. He said, I always thought that would be a cool duet. And so I jumped on the phone right away and called Willie and said, I found the song. And when I took it out to him, there's a lot of words in that song. It goes along at a pretty good clip, and it's a story song. So there's 3 full verses of things that happen.
Right.
And he was looking over the lyric sheet, and I said, "Yeah." I said, "This is one of the few times that Shel Silverstein and who wasn't known for his co-writing, and Chris Christopherson, who wasn't also neither known for his co-writing, that they wrote a song together." And he's looking at it, and I've got it printed out for my blind eyes, so the print's pretty big. And so there's 2.5 pages of lyrics for this song. And he pulls out the 3 pages that I've got for him there, and he said, well, they may not have written often together, but they sure as hell made up for it. Because all I could see was this massive amount of words on the page. But he knew the song, he remembered the song from Fair and Young because he loves Fair. And we banged it out pretty quick. And he played guitar and played some great guitar on the record.
Yeah, I just love that song. I love the way that you guys do it. Awesome.
It's fun to do that with Kevin. Kevin singing the harmony on that thing. And, it's a really nice thing. I love singing with Kevin Smith.
For any of you that don't know, Kevin Smith is the upright bass player for Heybale, and he is also now Willie Nelson's bass player.
He's an upright bass player, but sometimes he lays down.
But not on the job.
Well, there's a couple of film clips I'll show you someday.
And Joe just joined us, and I'm not sure if it's your Joe or my Joe.
She's blacked out. I don't know. It could be.
I don't know either.
She's right across the hall.
Oh.
The way we have it set up here at our new house in Bristol is I've got a studio room here, which actually does not look a thing like the Continental Club behind me. That's all a trick of electronics. But Joe's office is right across the hall, so we get to hang out all day long together while we're working.
So how do you like your move to Virginia?
Well, judging from the weather you guys have had, it's, the weather here is, I think it was 80 today, I think was the high. And all last week, I noticed that Annie Nelson had posted it was 106 in Spicewood this last week. And that day, I think it was 84 here. I love the mountains. I love the scenery. I'm beginning to really love the people here, the ones that I've met. I mean, COVID has changed everything. All of us are kind of sequestered, but poking about a little bit. I just adore these folks over here. There's a lot of things I miss about Texas, but one of them is not the heat.
Right. Yeah, and I'm not sure, I didn't follow it yesterday or so far today, but 2 days ago, we were at 55 consecutive days of 100 and 100 plus, and that was the record.
Oh my goodness.
So,
Earl, you staying inside? You good?
oh, you bet I am. Now, I do go out 3 days a week to feed a feral cat at the Walmart garden center. But because he's fed outside the exit door, I don't have to go in. I don't have to deal with people. It's just I take Torty his food and his water, and then I go home. And
just hang out there by the door so it opens up automatically, so you get a little bit of that blast of air conditioning as you're coming back through.
Not that lucky. But, generally and of course, I will say that ordinarily this time of year, I pretty much hibernate anyways. It's just like I used to do in January in New York. Now I do in August in Texas. You don't
I asked Fred Vocart when we were getting ready to move here to Austin. I asked Fred, I said, my God, because I was living in Cupertino outside of San Francisco. And I said, my God, how do you stand the heat in Texas? And he said, well, that's why the good Lord made air conditioning. And I took him at his word on that. But there's only so much air conditioning you can do. It's nice to get out in the weather. But that being said, October, November, December, January, February, and March in Austin, Texas are about as good as it's going to get.
Uh-huh.
I was talking to Gene Watson today, the country singer, and he was talking about the heat back there in Texas. And I said, I don't miss it. And he said, yeah, but he said, I'm calling you up in December and see how you like it having your ass deep in snow up there. So, there is a downside.
Now, what I remember about living in Virginia and Maryland was not so much snow, but slush all winter long. And that, I hated that. I'd rather have either real snow or no snow.
Mm-hmm. Well, Earl, I guess other than Branson, I can't think of any place you may have lived that where they had some bad winter weather. I mean, you grew up in Mississippi, went to Houston, went to California, Southern California, and
Nashville.
There hasn't been a whole lot, and Nashville. Nashville gets its share. Nashville's only bad in the ice because nobody knows how to drive in it.
Right. Yep.
No,
Earl, you're much like me in that you hibernate in this kind of weather, right?
Yeah, well, I'm usually in New Mexico this time of year. I get out of here. I lived my last August in Austin, Texas. Well, what I thought was going to be my last August, a few years ago, and I go over to New Mexico, and I am a part-time member of the Joe West band over there. And I just plug in and play with Joe, whatever he's doing. And I've got friends over there. I just hang out and eat a lot of Mexican food, which is different from the food here. It's the northern New Mexican food. Mm-hmm. And I eat my way and play my way. And I just turn it into a vacation and try to do about 4 to 5 weeks over there. But I won't be there this year. I just missing my fun that I have over there. And I'm missing my escapism from the heat here. But I'm not out in the heat here because right outside my door, death lurks. So I stay pretty much in the house. And I get stuff brought over to me or brought in. And I've got me an exercise machine up in the living room to keep me from just blowing away to nothing. And I can pedal. It's a good one. And because I don't want to go to the gyms. I don't even know if they're open or not. And I think the rehab places are open, but I don't know for sure if they're wiping all that stuff down like I would wipe it down. I don't want to go around any of that. I'm eat, sleep, and I got books, and I got videos, I got TV, I got a radio. I can get Dallas on the radio. I'm isolating, and you know, I don't have any trouble doing that anyway. At my age range, there's not a whole lot of stuff. I can't go dancing because I can't dance because I got this problem with my balance because of my neuropathy in my feet. And I can't drink whiskey. I can't go dancing. I can't drink because if I get drunk, then I'm not me. So I just have to I'm staying in. I'm starting to learn how to do it, you know, and it's okay. But I will be glad when I get on stage and play music and watch other people dance, right, and enjoy the thrill of living in the moment, because playing music is the highest form for me of living in the moment. And it's you're just you're breathing the energy of the planet when you do that, and the energy of the people. And it's I don't know how to describe it. I'll be able to describe it again better, because I've just been led into a teaching that does help me describe that. But it is the highest. It's a freeing thing to play music for me. It's just so freeing. And I miss that. I miss doing that. But we'll get to that again, I'm sure. I'll either be blown away to nothing, or I'll be big as a house, or I'll be nice and muscular. I don't know how I'm going to turn out of this.
Well, Earl,
yes,
I've always described Sunday nights at the Continental Club with Heybale as my therapy.
Of course it is. Yes.
Because there is absolutely nothing better for me as far as my psyche than to just blow off steam with some great friends on stage and have fun, and knowing that everybody on stage is at the top of their game. That's the thing that always made me smile. I never walked away from the Continental Club on a Sunday night at whatever 2 o'clock in the morning without a smile on my face. Mm-hmm. I grinned all the way home.
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
Yeah, and you know, that's how I chose the 2 nights of the week that I work, is based on my favorite bands were playing on those 2 nights. And then when everybody's schedules changed and you guys started playing earlier in the evening, and I was still coming in at 9 o'clock, but you were starting at 7, and so I was only getting the last hour. It was the most frustrating thing in the world for me. And I actually asked Lonnie if he would please give me another hour so that I could come in at 8. I mean, I couldn't take the whole shift away.
He can come back at midnight. Just have him go take a nap out in the car. Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to miss Willie either, because he always has such great games. So it was like, I just kept wanting to come in earlier, but I couldn't ask Lonnie to like, let me come at 7 because that's when Heybale starts.
Well, I noticed when we took over the early slot, it was a lot better for me because of getting up in the morning doing radio.
Right.
Sometimes there were times I would not go to bed, just go to work, but I started joking that since we started the early shift, that our pre-show meal should be at Luby's. I think that would have been a good place for us to have our pre-show meal because we're all getting a little older now.
Hey, speak for yourself.
Well, there's that. Hell, I ain't seen people in a long time. You guys, this is fun. This is fun for me to sit down and visit with you. Earl, you and I have kept in touch through Facebook and emails and whatnot, but having that chance to sit there eyeball to eyeball and say howdy to folks that I miss a lot. I think Eunice has her dog with her. Is that Eunice's dog?
It is
whose dog was that?
And we're actually going to take you off screen, my dear. As soon as I can find you on here, which I can't. Where are you?
Just below you on my screen.
She's like in the Marsha Brady box.
There we go. Did that work? No? There we go. Okay.
Oh, Eunice. Diane, if I can take some liberties and say something right now, I want to say hi to Steve and all the staff at the Continental Club. There has been a whole lot of push for people to open early. There's been a whole lot of push for people to look out for themselves and look out for their bank account and their pocketbook. Steve hasn't done that.
Right.
From the get-go, from the very first night that he was forced to shut down due to COVID-19, his primary and only focus was, I think I just killed somebody. Well, I think that's my dog. Anyway.
Oh, it's my dog.
His primary and only focus was the safety of his patrons, his employees, and his musicians. And
correct.
I mean, I've always loved what Steve stood for and everything he's ever done business-wise, but that, if it's possible, that increased my admiration of him.
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
You know, everybody's having a kind of a tough time as far as making ends meet during these times. But, you know.
Yeah.
At least you guys are hanging together, and you're doing it for the right reasons.
Yes. And I will say people have been very generous in donating to the employees through our website. And that is so much appreciated because, you know, most of our employees are actually very highly educated people who could easily be doing professional jobs other than bartending or security or sound or, you know, whatever. Many of our sound people could actually be out on the road with high profile national touring acts, and they choose to remain at the Continental Club because it is family.
There's something magical about walking through those red doors. It changes your life forever.
Amen. Yeah. None of us that work there ever meant for it to be a career. And
I understand that exactly.
I started on Steve's 5th anniversary of owning the Continental Club. Mm-hmm. And there are 3 employees that have been there longer than I have. Edwin, Kelly, and Celeste have been there longer than I have.
Oh my.
And so, you know, none of us ever believed that this was a career. And yet Steve has, created the atmosphere in which we were able to bond as a family. And as we always say, a dysfunctional family, but a family nonetheless.
Yeah, good point.
She always says that we're just a bunch of misfits that fit together.
Well, the group of people that have been assembled there at the Continental Club, I mean, from front to back, have always been the very best at what they do because of, and I sure it's talent. I think a lot of it's talent. These people are very talented people.
Right.
But I think it's also desire to
Uh-huh.
make sure that that the vibe stays the same. Everybody's very protective of what the Continental stands for, and that's far too rare these days, unfortunately. But Steve has captured that lightning in a bottle at the Continental Club.
We've been so blessed to have the caliber of talent like you guys. I mean, Heybale is a superstar country group. There's no question about it. Every member has a pedigree of some sort. And so to have been blessed with so many years of y'all coming together on Sunday nights, you're not doing it for the money. It's like the money is nice, but it's not always great. You could certainly make more money someplace else, but
pole dancing
created a home.
I want to try pole dancing. Earl, you in? Are you in? I want to go pole dancing.
Yes, dance with the pole. Yeah.
Well, not go to Warsaw actually to do it, but actually do it a little closer to home. Maybe the landing strip. I think you and I should go to work there.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Diane. I derailed your eloquent, beautiful thought, and I apologize.
And on that note, we've got some messages here from people, and Eunice says, I miss dancing for y'all.
We miss dancing too, and we miss the false teeth. And she knows exactly what we're talking about. I think you guys do too. It's one of the greatest stories in Continental Club lore. I think there should be a book at some point of experiences from patrons and employees at the Continental Club over the last 25 years. It should be down in book form.
Right. Well, I'm trying to write mine. I don't know where I'll ever get with it. I mean, it has to be published posthumously anyways, because I know too many things. And someday I'm going to tell them all.
Oh, I do it now because as we get older, we're all getting senile. So we'll forget about a lot of things that you might remember. And so it would be good to have somebody chronicle it, number one, and number two, we won't know about it because we're all too old.
Nancy Rackness says, we miss you too. And LG Aristo, Fred G saying hi, miss y'all.
Miss you back.
And Nancy also says, family and magical, you just took my words. And Fred G says, hooray for all the CC staffs. I can't pole dance worth a damn.
Couple of wild turkeys or fireball, a couple of shots of fireball, and it comes naturally, trust me.
And Eunice says that night, oh my God, I found a set of upper dentures and no one would claim them. Do you read that?
I was wondering if she was going to come clean and tell the story. That's excellent. Yes. Apparently, can I finish? Can I embellish on the story?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Eunice tells a story about she's dancing and suddenly upper plate of somebody's false teeth lands in her cleavage, and she's like, "Hey, there's a set of false teeth in my cleavage. Whose are these?" And no one would claim them. Am I getting this story right? Eunice drops a line back and makes sure I've got that right, because that's how I remember it anyway. But I think that's just absolutely one of the finest moments in the Continental Club dance floor history.
He said yes with 2 exclamation points. So you got it right.
You know, I've woken up with strange things in my cleavage too, but never a pair of false teeth.
And you would think we would have been able to tell immediately who they belonged to, but no.
Everybody's keeping their mouth shut, so to speak. Oh my goodness.
Well, see, this is just like a Sunday night when after the show, we're all sitting around laughing together.
This whole conversation is reminiscent of being around the pool table about 15, 20 minutes after the show is over with.
Exactly.
And I am grateful for it. I've missed Earl and Tom and Red and Kevin and all the other guys in the band. I've missed them desperately. My Sunday nights are a little bit more empty than they used to be. But that being said, I don't have to put pants on.
Right.
And I like that. And so there is a trade. There's a trade-off from wearing pants and playing with Heybale. And some nights I'd rather play with Heybale. Some nights I'd rather not wear pants. Those two have never merged together.
Not yet.
Well, I do my show here from my home studio. Sometimes I don't dress, shall we say. I'm still in my jammies.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always said I always wanted a job that I could do while working in my underwear without a pole being involved. And I found that with the radio thing. We'll just leave it at that.
Well, guys, have you got any last things that you'd like to talk about or expound upon?
I would like to say and reach out to Earl and to Tom and to Red and to Kevin and to Jeff and to Chris and Eric Hoken and all the other folks that have been working with us over the years with Heybale. That I want to thank them because there's a certain magic in stepping on stage every night and feeling like you're invincible. It's all going to be okay because these guys are here. And you can't replace that.
Yep.
So thank you, guys.
I second that. That's what he said. It's magic. It's a magical time. We'll get it.
We'll
back
do it again. We'll do this again.
Yes, we
Yeah.
will. Yeah.
My grand plan was to come back to Texas about every 3 or 4 weeks and do the run of shows that I'd already had booked for 2020 and 2021 in Texas. Just fly back home and do them, and then play hooky on Sunday night and come by the Continental Club and play with Heybale. That was my grand plan, but
Right.
COVID-19, of course, kind of put the kibosh on that. But we'll do this again as soon as things get normal.
Absolutely. And we
As Tom Lewis says, once you're in Heybale, you're always in Heybale.
it's a lifetime commitment.
Which sounded kind of scary there for a moment when he said it. It was like, should I take this as a wonderful, warm pet a puppy moment, or is this something scary that I need to be aware of?
Oh, that's it. Is it a lifetime commitment or is it a lifetime sentence?
Either one is fine with me because some guys get used to prison. Never mind. Okay, I'm done. Excuse me. I apologize.
Well,
So I put the Continental backdrop in the back here, and I made Joe go down and get me a drink.
when you lifted your glass, it disappeared, and you had an empty hand.
Apparently, there's evaporation. Yeah, that's the green screen thing going.
Exactly.
Oh, I like that. There's a metaphor in there somewhere. Your glass disappears. I like that. That's a good idea.
Earl, any last words tonight?
No, I have no last word. This has just been very nice to get and visit with Dallas and see him again instead of just the typed notes, typed letters that we do, and to see you again, Diane. I mean, it's like you say, you never leave.
Right.
You never leave. once you're in, you're in. And if you think you're leaving, they just keep pulling you back.
Well, I've been lurking on Diane's Facebook presence that she's been doing here with the Zoom meetings and stuff like that.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed the set down you guys had a couple of weeks back. That was
So much
wonderful.
fun.
I laid on my couch and watched this and just grinned the whole time.
Oh, folks, thank you. That was fun too.
With no pants.
Okay.
I'm not sure Earl had any on either.
Yeah, I think we all need to come clean right now.
I took a bath. I took a bath last night.
You have your pants on. Do you have shoes, Earl? You got shoes on or no pants?
Slippers. I got slippers on and a pair of shorts. I got shorts.
Good man. All right, Diane, come clean.
Fully dressed. I have shoes on. I have a t-shirt dress on. I have underwear on, the whole bit. And
Don't you have any curtains?
Like 2 weeks.
So apparently you don't have any curtains in your house. That's why you're fully dressed every day.
I don't have any curtains in my house, and I am not fully dressed every day. This is an anomaly.
Certain days we should know about, like Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, or do you have a routine, a schedule?
The only days of the week that I put clothes on are Sunday, Monday, Wednesday. And those are the days that I go and feed Torty at Walmart, so I have to put clothes on.
I'll never be allowed at Walmart again. Nobody wears clothes at Walmart. Have you seen the videos and stuff on Facebook and stuff? I mean, nobody wears clothes.
There's Walmart. I'm just outside the garden center.
There's people in aisle 9 that wear stuff I wouldn't wear on my wedding night.
Oh, guys, it's just like old times. I sure do miss you.
Miss you guys.
So I'm going to let you all go now, and I'm going to do another little ad for donating to the Continental Club, to our merch page. You can buy whatever you want, and all of the proceeds go to the employees. And also we have a tip jar for donations also on our website, www.continentalclub.com. And there's a banner on the splash page that you can click on, and it will take you right where you need to go. And you can send us all your money. We need it. We can't open yet.
Continental Club is a family, and if everybody bears in mind all the great times they've had there for so many years, know that your family's hurting a little bit. These employees and everybody involved in the club are going through a tough time. They'll be there when you get back.
Yeah, and our musicians are too. And my plan is that once I can figure out how to get the damn PayPal up on here for donations, hopefully all of the musicians that participate in these Continental Confidential Lives will be able to get a little bit of money out of it too.
Since I moved to Tennessee, I bought a banjo. I cannot wait to play banjo for you people. I've been playing about 4 weeks now, and I'm really, really getting. Well, I hate to brag about it. I'm getting pretty damn good at it.
Okay.
So
that'll be our
but support the waitresses and bartenders, all the sound guys and gals at the club, everybody that works there are our family to us, and we'd be honored if you would keep them in mind. I know everybody out there is hurting. Everybody else has other things going on as well, but a lot of good times at this place, and we want to make sure these people stay safe and happy and healthy.
Thank you,
30 minutes.
Raj. Thank you, Earl, and
Thank you.
for tuning
Thank
in.
you.
I appreciate it. And now I know that I need to I need to admit everybody from the waiting room. So thanks y'all for being here, and we will be uploading this to our Facebook, the Continental Club Facebook page, and also to the Continental Club YouTube channel, which is Continental Club ATX, one word. If you separate it at all, you're going to get a bazillion other videos that have nothing to do with what we've posted. So it's Continental Club ATX, all one word, on YouTube. And until next time, I still don't have a confirmed guest for 2 weeks from today. It may be Dave Alvin.
Oh, that would be nice.
Ooh, that'd be good.
But y'all take care, and I will be in touch. Love y'all.
Thank you so much for having us, Diane. Thank you for doing this. Earl, I love you, my brother.
I love you. Love you. Love you,
Talk
Diane.
soon, I hope.
Bye-bye. For
Bye.
sure.